Hey friends, I'm Amy, and today we're making our next Better at Home Copycat recipe. Today we're heading to Cracker Barrel for some meatloaf, and we're pairing it up with their delicious green beans and creamy mashed potatoes. Up front, I haven't been to Cracker Barrel very often, mainly because I've never lived anywhere with one that was close. I've had a few of their dishes though, mostly their really popular stuff, like the meatloaf, ribs, chicken and dumplings, But their food was always great, so I wanted to include them in the Copycats since their menu is home-style cooking, and we all love home-style cooking here, so let's get cooking. First things first, preheat the oven to 350 degrees and make sure the rack is in the middle position. Now for the Choppy Prep, because both the meatloaf and the green beans do have some Choppy Prep. First, we need a half cup of finely diced green pepper. If you cut down the sides like this, it makes it easier to remove the core, seeds, and veins because we only want that nice green flesh of the pepper for this. Dice it nice and small, like pinky nail size, and then set this to the side. Next, we need the same amount, or half a cup, of finely diced onion. And we want it diced about the same size as the pepper so they cook in a similar amount of time. We also don't want gigantic chunks of onion in our meatloaf. I mean, unless you really love gigantic chunks of onion in your meatloaf, then go right ahead. Set this to the side with the peppers, and that is the Choppy Prep for the meatloaf. While we have the onion here though, we also need a quarter cup of chopped onion for the green beans, so I'm going to do that now as well. This doesn't have to be a really fine chop, just a regular rough chop. Also for the green beans, we need to mince up 2 cloves of garlic, although this is a massive clove, so I'm only using 1. For pre-minced garlic, this would be about 2 teaspoons. Set that to the side, and now let's prepare our beans. This recipe calls for a pound of fresh beans, but the beans served in the restaurant are cut up almost like canned green beans. So we need to trim any stems or weird ends off of our fresh beans and chop them up into 2 to 3 inch pieces. When all the beans are cut, set them to the side for later. Here's the thing though, if you want to skip this step, you totally can. Leaving them whole does not make them taste any less like Cracker Barrel beans, they just don't look the same. Also, if you want to skip fresh beans altogether, you can substitute these with frozen green beans, which are usually already cut up in the bag. For our last Choppy Prep, we need to dice up some bacon, which is why we left it for last. We need to have a half cup of diced bacon, but this half cup is after it's cooked and the bacon's gonna shrink. So this can be anywhere from 4 to 8 slices depending on your bacon. I have large slices of thick cut bacon here, and 4 slices gave me almost exactly what I needed. I would say go about a quarter cup high for the raw bacon, so 3/4 of a cup, and then you should end up with the right amount once it's cooked. And whew, Choppy Prep done. But wait, we have one thing that is prep, but it's not Choppy Prep. We need 1 full cup of crushed Ritz Crackers for our meatloaf. The easiest way for this is just throw some in a bag and mash them with a mallet. Just keep going until you have 1 cup of crushed crackers. For me, it was 1 sleeve. I guess we can call this mashy prep? But that's all the prep now, I promise. Okay, let's keep working on the meatloaf since that's the star of the show and it's also the one that takes the longest to cook. Over to the stove and add about a half tablespoon of oil to a medium pan and heat it over medium heat until it's shimmery. Dump in the finely diced green pepper and onion and saute them until they start to get soft and show a tiny little bit of browning, which was about 5 minutes for me. Then pull them off the heat right away and set them aside to cool. Over to a large bowl, and we're starting with 2 eggs. Whisk these up well so the yolk and the whites are fully combined, kind of like we're making scrambled eggs. Add in the cup of crushed Ritz Crackers, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, and a half a cup of whole milk. Stir all this up really well so everything is fully combined and it looks like it's becoming sort of like a weird paste. Then pour in the onions and the peppers we sauteed and stir those in as well. Now the pepper and onion should be cool enough for the egg to be safe at this point, but if they're still really hot, give them a few minutes before moving on so they don't start cooking the egg. Now for the meat, and we want 2 pounds of ground beef. However, It's very, very important that the ground beef is lean, at least 80% lean, but 85 to 90 is even better. If you use a ground beef with a lower percentage, you'll end up with a log of soggy meat that's swimming in grease, and that just sounds nasty. Mix the 2 pounds of ground beef into the egg mixture until everything is fully combined. I know, it looks questionable, but this will be delicious. Put all of the meat mixture into a 9-inch loaf pan like this one and shape it into a loaf type of a shape. Then pop this in the oven and bake it for 30 minutes to start. While that meatloaf is baking, we need to whip up our topping. In a small bowl, add 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of ketchup, a teaspoon of regular yellow mustard, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Stir this up well so everything is fully combined and there's no sugar lumps anywhere. When that meatloaf has been cooking for 30 minutes, pull it out of the oven and brush the topping all over the top of the meatloaf. Then get that meatloaf right back in the oven for another 30 to 40 minutes or until the center of the loaf reaches 155 degrees. Now to cook our beans. In a large skillet, add the bacon to the cold pan and cook it over medium-low heat until that bacon is nice and crispy and has rendered out a bunch of its fat. When the bacon's nice and crispy, remove it from the pan and set it to the side on a paper towel just to soak up any of that extra grease. Now back to the pan and be really careful here. We want about a tablespoon of this fat, but only a tablespoon. So I would remove that tablespoon and then pour any remaining fat into a container to store for other things, and then add that tablespoon back into the pot. Add 3 tablespoons of butter to the bacon grease, and when it's melted, add in that chopped onion. Saute this for a few minutes in the butter and the bacon grease, which is almost more like frying it, as you can see. When the onion's soft, add in the minced garlic and then stir continuously for about 30 seconds until the garlic becomes fragrant. Pour in a 1/4 cup of chicken stock and scrape up all of that delightful fond on the bottom of the pan, because that is some concentrated flavor. Add in the fresh beans, or frozen if you substituted, as well as about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Give everything a good stir so the seasonings are mixed in and the beans are coated in that butter. Pop a lid on the pan, reduce the heat to low, and simmer this for 10 to 15 minutes so the beans are fully cooked through. When they're done, remove them from the heat, and these are ready to serve with our crispy bacon on top. Granted, you can also mix the bacon back in if you like it that way. As long as the bacon's in there somewhere, it's good. When our meatloaf is done, it should have an almost glaze-like top. Sit the meatloaf to the side and let it rest for at least 15 minutes to ensure that the juices stay in the meatloaf where we want them and that the meatloaf has time to set up. I started the bacon for the beans right after putting the meatloaf in the oven for the second time, and the beans finished while the meatloaf was resting. I also whipped up some mashed potatoes. Now, we've been through mashed taters here before, and the only difference is that Cracker Barrel does not include the skins. Just boil some peeled potatoes until they're fork tender, and then drain the water. Mash them up while adding in butter and whole milk until they're very, very creamy, and season with salt and pepper to taste. And that's about it for Cracker Barrel mashed potatoes. They're really simple, but delicious just the same. And after the meatloaf is done resting, our Cracker Barrel dinner is served. This unassuming meal is absolutely mouth-watering. I mean, meatloaf just looks like a slice of ground meat, no matter what, so it's always a question of flavor, and this one tastes exactly like Cracker Barrel's meatloaf. The beans are buttery, garlicky, and that crispy bacon, just like at the restaurant, but I think these might have even had more flavor. The potatoes, what can I say? They're mashed potatoes, but they're so creamy, and they're savory, and they don't even need gravy, which is saying something for potatoes. And by the way, the leftovers were epic! Now the money. As usual, I have the cost breakdown in the description if you want to check that out. At Cracker Barrel, the meatloaf dinner is served in 6-ounce slices, and it usually comes with 2 sides. It runs from $11.99 to $14.29 depending on where you are, so we'll go with an average or around $13 for one meal. This homemade loaf starts with 2 pounds of meat and then adds some stuff, which would be about 6 servings. I spent just over $26 for everything to make the meatloaf, green beans, and the mashed potatoes, and that would be about $4.33 per serving, not including tax, tips, service fees, all that extra stuff. So we got 6 servings at home for the same price as 2 servings at the restaurant. As usual, more than double the food for less than half the cost, and as usual, this tasted so much better. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, leave me a comment below, maybe share this with friends if you're enjoying making these epic recipes with me. It helps me grow my channel so I can keep making more delicious foods for you. Come and hang out with me on Sundays for delightful, comforting, cozy home-cooked meals and treats, and we have some doozies coming up, so don't miss out. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday for some more better at home copycat cooking. Bye!